Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Picks and Sticks podcast, a fun music podcast where four great friends talk about the music, bands, and songs that they love. I'm Moro.
I'm Gordo.
I'm Cecil.
And I'm Huff.
And this is Picks and Sticks.
On this episode of the podcast, we bring you 10 great songs from the legendary Jimi Hendrix.
Welcome, everyone, to the final Picks and Sticks episode of 2020. We frickin' made it, everyone. We want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, of course. And you know, I swore I would never do this. I broke my rule in the Christmas episode, but there we go. We're just gonna have we're on vacation here. We're not going back to work for a few days. So we'll maybe cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers, boys.
And,
looks like you got yourself a Pabst there.
I do. Right? Yeah, college beers.
Jesus.
I think Cecil was calling them.
I know what college
you
beers
upgraded
are.
from last
the furthest place you'd ever see me anywhere, ever.
Okay, so the first thing I wanted to do, actually, because I needed to get an update. We weren't sure we were actually going to make it to the end of 2020. There was a text that went across this morning. Gord is a delicate flower. He's allergic to peanuts, of all things, of course, right? Apparently, Gord almost died today. Gord, can I get an update, a health update? What happened? Is the wife trying to poison you?
You know what? I wouldn't put that. I wouldn't put that past her. But no, I don't know what happened, man. I think I had some potatoes or something that were cross-contaminated. I don't know. You guys trying to make hash browns. Next thing I know, I'm having a bit of reaction. Took a little medicine. I'm feeling better.
I'd poison you if I lived with you.
A little groggy for most of the day, but you know what? The show must go on, as they say.
You're a trooper, if nothing else.
Aren't I?
Definitely a trooper.
I still think that would have made a good band name. Allergic to nuts.
Still make it happen, man.
Yeah, maybe that's the name that we can go under for, we've got the first half song, which is the intro, right? That's the first collaboration.
I'll start it. I'll call it Allergic to Nut.
Allergic to nut.
Cecil. Yeah, there you go.
D's nut.
Yeah, Diz Nut.
Dis nut.
Oh, yeah, we're finishing 2020 strong here, gentlemen.
Wow.
I guess speaking of death, the other thing that
Christmas.
Yeah,
or
right.
That was something else.
No, Gord almost died, and Moro is 1 year closer to death. So we need to bring up the birthday, which was yesterday. Outside of playing online poker with us, what'd you do? Did you get like a Bentley or something for your birthday? What'd you get? What's going on?
Oh, I got a. Well, I didn't do much. I had dinner. Little Popeye's chicken, little Tops pizza.
Oh, nice,
sweet.
Whoa! Hang on. You went with a chicken pizza combo.
Yeah, chicken pizza combo. Two different, but it had to be Popeyes and Tops.
You wild man.
Tops
I've never had Tops.
Tops is where you used to have to go to watch all the satellite fights, the old Tyson fights.
Was that in that strip
I saw
mall by that Italian market?
Yeah.
Original one was on Elbow Drive. I watched Larry Holmes fight there. I went pre-Tyson.
Yeah, there's an interesting crowd when you're allowed to go there.
Oh yeah, right.
Huh. But I did get some cool gifts. I got a tomato press.
Nice.
Il passa
Italian. The rest is going okay. Yeah. What else did you get? He's jacked. He's jacked. Tomato press. Oh, that's a nice one.
If you're gonna make pasta, you gotta grind your own fresh tomatoes.
Yeah.
I'll be over tomorrow.
And I can
making
jar 'em.
lasagna for Christmas instead of turkey.
Nice.
Good call,
But,
buddy.
I can't.
but my feature gift was the Marley turntable, so that I can play my vinyl. Finally,
Nice.
Vinily. Oh, yeah.
So I got to listen to some of my records last night.
What did you dust off?
I started with Fair Warning, Van
Nice.
Halen. And,
Did you listen to the whole thing, or did you just pick
whole
a
thing.
few cuts?
Little Bob Marley, and then I got stuck on the George Thorogood.
What? Really?
Yeah, well, it wasn't even my record. It was my stepdad's record, and that he'd given to me a long time ago. So I put it on. I thought, oh, maybe this is good. It's fucking awesome. Awesome.
That's a bit of a curveball. Right on.
Which album was it? Do you remember?
I don't remember the name of it. It's just him drunk on the cover.
It wasn't the live one though.
No,
I'm not
live.
I'm not a Thorogood aficionado. Not that I could list them off. I was just curious.
Neither am I, but I'm actually very impressed. He's pretty good in small doses, anyway.
Yeah, I've never listened to a lot of it. I mean, everybody seems to know one bourbon, one scotch, and one beer, and I think there might be a couple other popular ones, but I imagine he's one of those artists. When you listen to the whole catalog, there's a lot of really good shit in there.
Yeah, the behind the other stuff, the not so popular stuff, is really good. There's some acoustic stuff. It's good guitar player.
Nice
Good tunes.
Well, speaking of great guitar players,
Yeah.
we're talking Jimi Hendrix today. Before we get into it, we want to remind everybody that you can email the show at picksandstickspodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram as well. We'd love to get everybody involved there as well. Again, it's Picks and Sticks Podcast. You'll find us on Instagram. And the playlists for our episodes are available, so you can download the playlist, which is essentially our top 20 songs plus the deep cuts. You'll find those on Apple Music, YouTube Music, or Spotify. The links are in the show notes. And I understand we may have a fourth entry here. We've got a fan that's taken an active interest in the podcast. What do you got, Gordo?
Yeah, we had a guy get a hold of us, and his name is Michael Acoin. Shout out to Michael. He's doing our playlists for us in Deezer. So thanks, Michael.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah, thanks very much. That was Deezer.
Dude, here's to
So there you go.
Michael.
Playlists are now available on. Ooh,
Deezer nut.
That was from Michael. That's his.
Oh, that's
Not
Michael's beer.
us.
that's the beer. That's the poor little out for Michael. Oh no,
Yeah.
he's helping. He's not dead. So don't pour out a little for him. Playlists are now available on Apple Music, YouTube Music, Spotify, and Deezer. That's very exciting. So back to the great guitars, Jimi Hendrix. What do we know other than he's dead and plays left-handed? What else do we know?
He's pretty good at that bit of guitar, eh?
He's pretty good at the guitar there, eh, guy?
Best ever. It's unbelievable.
Is he the best ever?
I think he had. Yeah, I got it as best ever.
Okay.
He's his own thing though. Like it's all feel. I think I read he didn't learn to read music or anything.
Which is interesting. I don't have a great background with Hendrix. I know the hits, and then once you go through it, then you realize how many well-known songs he actually has. Some really, really good material in there.
Well, what do you think? Do you think he's the best, or what do you
Me?
What do you got? Either of you, yeah.
He'd be up there.
Yeah, that's.
This is funny, hey? Hard to describe, huh?
You know what? He's so unorthodox.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost it's deflating when you listen to him and you want to play guitar because he's so good and he's so unorthodox. Like,
I know the other guy that usually comes up is Eddie Van Halen, right? And I find he's more like he's almost like an engineer learning guitar. Like he's so meticulous and good at what he does, whereas Hendrix is more
feel.
He's the artist. He's Van Gogh. Like he's incredibly difficult to emulate, I would think.
Some of his blues stuff.
That's funny you say that, Van Gogh. I would be jumping ahead on songs I like when we get into the songs, but some of the longer songs, they're not so much storytelling. They're more like he's painting a picture. So
Yeah.
they are more like paintings and stories. Like when he talks about like Neptune and mountain lions and
Dragonflies.
and moonbeams. You know,
Mermen.
It's very imagery.
Yeah.
Someone who's he's on a different planet.
Well, that might be part of the time though too, right? Because that was during it was a lot of LSD, and you know that time in music and in rock history.
He said, I remember reading. He said when he's playing on acid, and he actually the notes would start turning into colors, and they'd be dancing, and each note would have its like own color, and there's something there because there's 7 colors on the rainbow. There's 7 chakras, which all have different colors, and 7 whole music notes. So there's some connection he found some connection to colors and music that we just haven't figured out yet.
Just needed to go on the brown acid.
Brown acid, man.
Yeah,
don't take the brown acid.
Well, he plays so different. Like he plays with his thumb. You know, and one of the things that when you learn guitar, if you've taken guitar lessons or anything like that, they teach you not to play with your thumb. Right? So he plays with his thumb on the bass notes. The way his guitar's set up, like
they likened
Eddie
his
Van
thumb.
Halen
Sorry to interrupt. They likened his thumb to being the left hand on a piano.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
That was it. I was interrupting. I derailed you.
Yeah, and then
I'm gonna rail you.
Eddie with his Frankenstrat and all these guys are sort of mad scientists, and Jimmy was the same. He played, the right-handed guitar lefty, which means the pickups were a different way, and so everything that he did was so unique, and it wasn't. I guess it's a lesson, and it's how you play the guitar. It's not the gear, because he had his Strat, he played it backwards, and he cranked his fucking Marshalls to 10.
He could have had a left-handed Strat, though. Didn't he play it upside down on purpose to have a more even tone? So your E strings are switched. So instead of you get a more level tone. The fat long E string has it's a longer string, so it has a thinner tone. Where the high E is the shorter string, so it's a fatter tone. So I don't know if I thought it was because they didn't have left-handed guitars back then, but apparently it might have been intentional for his sound.
Yeah, he was nuts, and I read this thing. It's kind of funny. When they recorded him at first, they put the mic 12 feet from the amp because he had it turned so loud. And typically, when you record a guitar amp, you would put the mic literally
close,
touching the cloth, right?
Yeah.
Less than an inch away. They had to put it 12 feet. It was so fucking loud, right? And
it's one more foot than Spinal Tap had to.
That's right.
True artist, yeah. Best ever. I don't know. Yeah, probably. I think he's amazing.
Yeah, I did too. I'm not a guitarist by any stretch.
He is,
but his blue, some of the blues stuff that he plays is, beautiful, I guess is probably the word. I could listen to it. There are certain components, certain parts of different songs that just, I don't know. I don't know if I mean, I can't even put it into words, but there's some parts of this music that is just spectacular to listen to.
Did you guys find it? I found when I was listening to it, you could start to, because I've always listened to Jimmy, but I haven't listened to him as much as I have lately because I really wanted to get through the catalog and hear everything. Did you find that you heard a lot of influence, in something of the new music you like? You kind of hear that in his stuff. I was shocked. Spanish Castle Magic to me reminded me of Rage Against the Machine and stuff like that. I was just wow, that is
that's hilarious. Yeah,
I was having the same experience, man.
That's a good connection.
It was there'd be a few times I'm he's reminding me of a song, and then I'm like, oh wait, he's before all these guys.
Yeah,
he influenced a lot of people.
He sounds like he's scratching records on Are You Experienced?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, that's a good call.
Yeah, and a big part of that too was his sound engineer Eddie Kramer, who I love, which I won't geek out about that, but
Geek out.
those guys did some amazing shit. If you think about, they were doing it in the '60s, at a time when they only recorded in mono. So you can get Jimi Hendrix LPs only in mono. But they were doing some wild shit with the stereophonic stuff, and just like they were mad scientists, really, as far as music goes.
I think you got to give the acid its due here.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, no shit, eh?
We don't want to, promote those things, kids, for those that are listening. But apparently,
Certainly.
It's sometimes hard to argue with the results.
Well then.
Is there anything else on Jimmy as from 40,000 feet before we get into the fine elements of the songs and that?
I had one thing. I saw an interview just last night, actually, and it was one of his last interviews, and it was awesome because they actually asked him who his influences were. Like, who did he think was a great guitar player? And he named Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top, which shocked me. Yeah,
I'm a big Billy Gibbons fan.
Me too, man.
Yeah, and who else? Muddy Waters.
Yeah,
Robert Johnson.
I could see that. I was expecting to hear a lot of blues based players before him, right?
Just trying to do. I was absolutely shocked trying to do research just to get up to speed, on some things. But I was shocked how much information there is, and the fact that he wasn't even around that long, and he only has 3 real studio releases. So
It's true.
it was incredible how much information there is on the guy. He's a true.
He's basically had like a 4-year career in the spotlight, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and put out a ton of great stuff. Is there an artist out there that has more live recordings of the same songs?
Great. Yeah, Grateful Dead, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
got a
and
lot
they've
of
been
stuff.
around for 1,000 years, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
again, for a guy that had essentially a 4-year or 5-year career,
And then
sorry, go ahead, Gord.
I was just saying, and then we had planned to do Jimmy a while ago, and then coincidentally that Live in Maui came out just a few weeks ago, and it's funny they're still coming up with stuff from that time that was, and I don't know if you guys watched any of that, but man, what a crazy bunch of hippies.
That's a good story.
I want to watch that actually. That I should put that on my list of things to do.
And it's super windy too. Like it is just. The conditions, you'd think Hawaii is just beautiful. No, it was like a windstorm. It was hilarious. He didn't care.
Yeah, a quick background story on that. That was his manager was a little weird. He made some deal or something. I don't know all the exact details, but anyways, they convinced Jimmy to take part in that movie called was it called Rainbow Bridge? But the movie was made by like an Andy Warhol assistant or something that tried to do his own thing, and they had no script, so it was just them like babbling about weird stuff, and somehow had convinced Jimmy to. He's got like a small, I don't know all the details exactly. I don't know if it's a small bit in it, but a part of the concert. But they got him out there. He's like the biggest star in the world, and then he's playing for like on the edge. That concert was on the edge of a volcano with just like a few hundred people, and that's like the biggest star in the world. And how they seated them?
Yeah, how they sat them was crazy. Go ahead.
How'd they seat them?
By astrological signs?
Astrological signs. So they put you like the Capricorns together and the Leo. Like it was pretty far out, man. And
Really?
oh yeah, dude, it was weird. But the concert itself was good because it was only, as Carlin said, just a few hundred people, maybe 1,000 tops.
Yeah, only the Virgos are crying to one song, and
Geminis aren't paying attention.
Killer concert, and the quality was good because most of the stuff you see with Jimmy's, it's usually film and it's not that good. This happened to be really good.
oh yeah, you talked about the wind, and they got like a soccer ball size foam around the mic.
Yeah, it's like this. It's like
It's like you're
size
singing
of
to
a
a
soccer ball.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Made by Nerf.
Great album though. great.
It's a good album. Yeah.
That was the Billy Cox playing bass
That's right. I believe that was his army buddy.
and Mitch Mitchell. They were kind of almost a 5-piece. He had the experience with Mitch Mitchell and
Noel Redding.
Noel Redding. See, that was weird. Like Jimmy couldn't make it in the States, which is like kind of suspicious, being he's black. He had something to do with it. He had to go to he had to go to this UK.
To London.
Yeah. So what was the story? Something was Keith Richards' wife discovered him, and she introduced him to Chaz Chandler, their manager. And then he took him over, and he had no band when he went to Europe. Picked up Noel Redding and Mitch, and then boom, made a couple albums and
Was
came
Chaz
back
from the Animals?
Yeah, there's a weird connection to the Animals. He was the old bassist of the Animals, and then Jimmy's last jam he ever played was in a pub with Eric Bird and the old singer of the Animals.
There you go.
Bookend. Yeah, it's a conspiracy there, I'm sure. But anyways, yeah, it wasn't until he came back, and so he played mostly with those two. But then I don't know how, why they switched. I couldn't find any drama. That's the thing. It was like they're all like friends. Like even Noel Redding was talking about the other bassist and how good guy he was, and vice versa. Like they got along. So I don't know why they made the changes, but a little different sound. The second band he had was Billy Cox, Buddy Miles, and then eventually Buddy Miles left. He went to Billy Cox, Mitch Mitchell. But anyways, there is if the 3 Experience albums are, they have there's a slightly different sound with Billy Cox on bass. I can't tell the drum difference much, but Billy and Noel are quite different basses. You get a lot more notes with Billy Cox. I think he fits better with Jimmy. You hear him on
I did too.
On some of that newer album, what's it called? People, Hell, and Angels, which has some of the songs that were supposed to be on the 4th Experience album, but that you get mostly Billy Cox, and if you want more Billy Cox, then
if you want more Cox, is that what you're gonna say? And you stopped yourself. I'll say it for you. That's funny.
Exactly. I'm trying to grow up here. Some Band of Gypsies. That's one. That's
yes.
If you want an experience between the difference of the bands, listen to 3 Experience albums. That's one thing. And Band of Gypsies is the best example of Billy and Buddy.
Nice.
Okay.
And
yeah, I thought. Sorry, go ahead.
Digital Underground sample on there too, but I digress.
Yeah, I thought that the People, Hell, and Angels album, I'd never heard it before, and maybe that's part of, the reason why I liked quite a few songs off of that album, just because it was fresh to me. But I thought that was an exceptional album.
Same. You had a couple of tunes I felt, I hadn't heard Earth Blues or Somewhere before, and good are they? How did I miss those? Incredible.
The only thing about those albums that I think it doesn't bother me, because I think they're good. I think they're really good. Is that he was so involved with the production of his stuff, and then him being gone, they kind of just had to interpret what he meant, by the master tapes and that,
right.
and even with Electric Ladyland, he was so active because Chaz Chandler and him didn't get along anymore, and he sort of overtook it, and him and Kramer did that, and it really, with the newer stuff, it's someone's interpretation of it, which it's still really good. It's just not, in my opinion, not even close to as good as the stuff he was involved in.
Electric Ladyland's probably the most pure Jimmy then, because no Chaz Chandler, and he was still alive. Producing it.
Yeah, fair point.
Yeah, you're right.
Because he didn't, be the only one that he himself really worked on.
Well, and the thing, if you look through the album credits, Electric Ladyland has 20 musicians.
Does it really?
Yeah, and the first 2 albums only really have the 3 dudes, the 3-piece, for the most part, right?
There you go.
There you go. Didn't know that. So let's get into it. We've kind of teased a couple of the songs and a couple of the albums. So, well, it's been a long time, guys, since we've done a top 10 list. We had to dust off the algorithm. We
rebooted it.
Right, we had to adjust it a little bit. We had to dust it off, and in hopes of there being only 10 songs on the top 10. But lo and behold, we do have the patented 11-song top 10 list. Just to remind the listeners how we come up with our top 10 list. Again, this is not necessarily the best songs, but these are what we would call, our favorite songs, or at least the songs that we are enjoying the most at this particular time. So all four of us will create our own list of 20 top songs, and then we run it through that algorithm that I just mentioned, and then it delivers a ranking system. And we talk about the top 10. We'll reference probably some of the 20, and then, like I said, the playlists that you can find on Apple, YouTube, Spotify, and Deezer will be our top 20 songs plus the deep cuts, which we'll get into a little bit later. So
nice. Let's do it.
With that being said, and I will say I'm glad there was 11. Because tied for 10th, a couple of songs, and one that Cecil, you were playing for us before we started recording, Red House, and I think Gordon and I realized that we may have missed the boat on this one. I mean,
I do. I feel shame. This should have been up the list.
I do. Cecil had it on his list. Morrow had it on his list. Both of them, kind of got it onto the top 10, and man, what a great tune. Well, there it is. There's the first great tune.
Yeah, there it is. Where's the buzzer?
Ding.
Where's the buzzer?
It has the best the last lines. Best ending, that song. He says, I know if my baby don't love me no more, I know her sister will.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of Keith, actually,
hilarious.
there's a rumor that song is about Linda Keith Richards' girlfriend that discovered him. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Really?
Yeah, they became. I read his biography. They were like really good buddies, her and him. But you can't find much info. She don't talk about it because it's always like everyone wants to talk about. Oh, did you bang him? They want to talk about sex and stupid stuff. But they had a true friendship, I guess.
There you go.
That's a good take on 12-bar blues. That song, it's full on blues, man.
Oh, is it ever?
And you know what's weird? I read that he recorded it with his Flying V, his Gibson Flying V.
Really?
Which I'm not sure I believe that, but that's
I didn't
crazy.
even know he had one. I don't think I've ever seen him.
I saw a video of him on a Flying V in a recording studio just yesterday.
Yeah.
Really?
It always looks
yeah.
so weird when you see him without the Strat. You see him with a lot of different guitars and photos.
Maybe I guess I just never paid attention, not being a guitar guy. But I've always seen the pictures with him with the Strat.
Like Dolly Dagger, I think, in that live in Maui, pulled out the Flying V.
No way.
Had a lot of time for the Flying V.
It seems ridiculous that you would have a 12-bar total blues song playing the Flying V. Doesn't seem to make sense, but it's pretty cool.
That goes back to his unorthodox style, I guess.
Huh.
There's another song, Bleeding Heart. Another good kind of long blues song. I think that one and Red House, I grouped those two together. That's another beauty.
Nice.
I said beauty.
I'd say Red House is one of my favorite blues songs ever of all time. I can't think of one that I like better than that.
Yeah, and I had that high on my list at one point, and I don't know if maybe it got lost in the shuffle as I was re-ranking, and I was kind of surprised that it didn't end up on my top 20 at all, which is weird. So I will, to jump ahead, I'll have to add that into the egregious omissions, at least on my list, because I find that's completely unacceptable.
I am in the same boat, my friend.
Right.
I don't know what
Me
happened.
and-
That's something
But
we'll
all
do
the
our
other
penance
songs
later.
are great too. This is a
That's
Jimmy
true.
list. It's all love, all good.
Yeah, and that's a great point, because the other song that came in tied at number 10, a song that I would say most people have heard. It's the Bob Dylan song "All Along the Watchtower." I had it highest on my list. I had it number 3. This is one of my favorite tunes. That that opening riff is outstanding. What I found interesting about this too is I read that Bob Dylan wrote it, was performing it. Jimmy loved the song, re-recorded it, did a cover song of it, if you will. And Bob Dylan loved the way that he did the song. That when Dylan started playing it live, he played it the Jimmy way rather than the way that he had originally recorded it.
I read that.
I found
he
that
said,
fascinating.
Dylan said it's Jimmy's song. He always credit with being Jimmy's song. He said, I heard that too. He liked his better.
Yeah, they had a lot of admiration, I think, for each other. A lot of quotes of Jimmy talking about Bob Dylan as a lyricist.
Oh,
right.
Yeah, there's a lot of mutual respect there for sure.
Yeah.
His when he plays Like a Rolling Stone, Monterey Pop.
Mm-hmm.
I got misty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had Monterey Pop taped on. I taped it on Much Music when I was a kid. So as a teenager, I watched that like 1,000 times because I loved the.
No kidding.
Wild thing was I could not wait for the ending.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, that Like a Rolling Stone. That's a beautiful live version. But yeah, I got misty yesterday listening to it.
Jeez, man.
There you go. And I think All Along the Watchtower has been remade. I mean, U2 is probably one of the most kind of famous ones. I think I actually heard the U2 version probably before I heard the Jimmy version, to be honest.
I don't even know if I've heard that version.
The U2 version?
Yeah.
Maybe I have.
I think
was it on Rattle and Hum or something?
Yeah.
Is that word? Yeah.
I'd call it okay at best. And I like U2, but I didn't think their version was that good at all. But.
Wow. It's pretty hard to, the picks and sticks rule is you got to make it better, right?
Got to make it better.
Cover it. If we were to rank all of the remakes of All Along the Watchtower, U2 would probably be towards the bottom of the list. I didn't think it was awesome at all.
Bono say we're Jimi Hendrix stole the song from Bob Dylan. We're stealing it back.
Oh, that's right. He did say that, didn't he?
Charles Manson stole the song from the Beatles. We're stealing
it back.
Oh God.
The number 9 overall song, Little Miss Lover from Axis Bold as Love. Morrow had this as his number 2 song. What do you want to add on this one, Morrow?
It's just a really grooving song.
That bass line, I had a note here. That bass line is awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, it's thick bass, and then the guitars are like really double tracked, and it's a pretty cool song. He likes to sing about the ladies a lot. Hey.
Yeah, he does.
Oh,
he's just not as obvious as Brian Johnson.
Well, this one he's like skeptical. He doesn't need this girl, and then he convinces himself by the end that maybe she'll do.
Maybe she'll do.
Nice.
It's a good song. It's a really short song, but it's I think it's just it's got a thick groove to it. You're right. The bass is killer.
Have you heard the Chili's cover of this? It's really good.
No.
Speaking of bass, right, with Flea on the bass, and they amplified a bit. It's freaking awesome.
Yeah, they did a great job of it.
Huh.
They did that, and Castles Made of Sand, I think, at the end of Blood Sugar Sex Magic. They added to a later cut of it or something.
Did they really?
Huh.
Yeah.
That's a great album, and I listened to the shit out of that CD.
Was it on? I have the CD. It's not on there, but it's on.
Okay.
It's on the end of it now. If you go on Apple,
Really?
iTunes,
okay,
or
I'm
Spotify,
going to check that out.
I'll check that. I didn't know.
Perfect. Thanks for the tip.
Great.
There you go.
Tip.
I'm learning stuff. This
That's
is
a
great.
band I can't wait to do. Chili's too. There's a lot of tunes there though as well.
Yeah, you just pump the brakes there, buddy. One band at a time.
Yeah, Chili's is going to be tough. They got a lot of material, but anyway.
Yeah, I'm looking for it.
That's number 9. That's Little Miss Lover. Number 8, Manic Depression. I was the odd man out on this. I was the only guy that didn't have this on his list. I will say this is one of my. It's not one of. The song actually made me depressed. It made me sad, so I had to stop listening to it. But Gord, you had it as your number 2 song. So
Yeah, I think he's singing about a lady here. He sounds a little love lost on this song, but the crazy thing about this song is just the whole feel. Like, I think they do it in either 3/4 or 6/8 time, and it's got that boom da boom da do da do do. Like, it's got that really confusing beat to it. As a young guy, when I tried to learn this song early because it sounds really impressive when you get it, even though it's not that hard. So you just like rock that shit all day. Oh, check out what I can do.
Yeah.
But I really like the feel to this song. It's like a waltz timing, and it's I love this song.
Talks about in the song, feeling, sweet feeling drops from my fingers.
Nice. Yes.
Feels come up a lot with Jimmy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an underrated lyricist. I know he's got the 60s hippie stuff going on, right? But I feel he was underrated.
The songs that
As
I
a
always get the
lyricist.
song in my head when I'm bummed, I get the song in my head. When I'm bummed and feel like doing things. If I'm bummed and don't want to wallow, it's like let's walk around manic depression.
Really?
It's a good pick me up.
All right. Well, I didn't get that feel, so maybe I need to listen to it again.
I'm surprised as a person that plays drums, it didn't catch you.
No, I thought the drumming on it was really good. I don't know, just for me there was just something I can't there are surprisingly actually there's a lot of I got a lot of time for the drummer.
He's great.
Mitch Mitchell's he's like a coked up Ginger Baker at the time. Like, he is just like frantically bashing that thing. He's all over. I've never heard so many like rim shots and stick clicks on the record. Like, you hear it all. He's just out of time. Like, he doesn't give a shit. He just keeps giving her. Like, he's really good.
He is really good. And my point was going to be that if I was selecting songs just purely based on the drumming, I think it'd be very difficult anyway, because I think there's some really magical moments and like you said, some chaotic moments. There's some confusing parts where you're like, what is this guy doing? Like, but it kind of works. But yeah, I will fully admit that the drumming on Manic Depression is very good, but the song didn't quite make my top 20.
That's all right.
The song that I really did want to talk about, I'm very excited to get to number 7. And I don't have I just realized I don't have the whole name of the song. 1983.
A merman I should
turn to be.
Again, Morrow and Cecil carried Red House into the top 10, and you guys carried 1983 into the top 10, all the way up to number 7. This song stood out for you two anyway.
It's a painting.
Phenomenal.
Yeah,
it's like 12 minutes or something, isn't it?
Yeah, I even like I know for this one Jimmy played bass himself, and you can tell, right? It's not there's no bass riff. Well, there's probably a riff, but that long, I don't know what you call it, interlude, long, forever non-singing part.
Yep,
it is lengthy,
but it sounds like it's played underwater almost, like
it does.
It's got I don't know, it's a hard song to describe, man.
Is it about suicide? I can't understand it.
It's hard to tell.
When I read the lyrics, like it seems like they're just ending things, him and his girl.
This is funny. We're like 5 songs, and it's been similar for every song. I don't really know what's happening. I don't know what this is about. I'm having a hard time to explain this.
I got a story about this song.
So true. But I like it.
Yeah.
So
what's that, Cease?
No, it's hard. It's like we're all on acid or trying to understand someone on acid. No, okay. So this song this stands out. One night back in Douglasdale at the old duplex where I used to see you guys wandering across the field to play darts.
Oh yeah.
So it was just Mirth and I drinking beers one night. We'd been upstairs just chilling on the couch. Had a little mushrooms. We're having a good time. We weren't like tripping out or nothing, but a good buzz, feeling good. So no word of a lie, we had not been downstairs for couple hours, man. Like, and all of a sudden, this freaking song, 1983, turned on my stereo. Like, the stereo was on, but it started to play, like, just on its own. I don't have a remote or nothing. And that's like, that stereo was a long freaking way from where we were sitting.
What?
So we're like, oh, and then I'm like, oh, I must have had it like on rotate, and it was playing like no discs, and then it, like, I just thought nothing of it. Chilling on the couch, a little while later, boom, glass smashes in the, not smashed, fell off the counter. It was a plastic glass bouncing off the kitchen floor, and we were sitting in the same freaking couch, both within a couple hours in the same night. Oh, yeah, we had a ghost.
I don't know, or is that? I feel like that's a shout out to your dealer.
Yeah.
He's delivering the goods on that night. I don't know what the hell was happening.
So you're just sitting on the couch with your buddy on mushrooms? That's my takeaway.
Yeah. Yeah, we're like 20, man. What else are you going to do?
That's funny.
All right, Morrow, top that. Have you got anything you want to add to 1983, or do we move on?
No, the only thing I was going to say is, because you were talking about songs being in and out, and you have them on your list, and this is one of those ones, if you're not in the mood to listen to it, with a lot of his songs, they're so different. They have R&B, they have blues, they have psychedelic. It depends what kind of mood you're in, where you would put a song on your list, because for me, this song is just unbelievable, but you do have to be in the right mood to listen to it. Like, it's kind of a chill out. It's Pink Floyd-ish, right? Like,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Great song. Great song.
Yeah, I found that because it did drag on. I'm not drag on. That's not fair. But yeah, I didn't. I don't know. I didn't find it up to the Pink Floyd standards. I have a hard time. Most of the songs that I selected from Jimmy were his sort of shorter, more traditional type songs. He has some, especially his live material. There's some incredible stuff, but I think I was saying to Gord a few days ago, I found it difficult sometimes that it was just so much guitar. Like you said, you couldn't listen to like two live albums back to back or anything like that. For me, it just became so much, and I don't want to say annoying, but it at times it became very noisy for me. And this was one of those songs that fell into that category.
Well, it's a very interesting story, and the reason I asked about suicide is because him and his girl that in the song, they leave the hellish stuff on Earth, or in the city, and they go to the sea, and to become a merman or whatever it is. Like, so they go under the water, and it's like, okay, well, is it just a fantasy kind of like, are the lyrics just fantasy, or is it, if you take them literally, it's like, it almost sounds suicidal. Like, it's pretty deep. It's a deep tune.
But he has other songs where he's detached from Earth, like that Somewhere song has got it's freaking hilarious. He's talking about aliens, his aliens point of view. These uptight people sure know how to make a mess. And then goes bananas on the guitar. Oh,
yeah.
Huh.
Maybe
right,
Jimmy
well,
was at your house. Maybe that's who was at your house.
I'm not saying
shrooms.
it. I'm not
Goes
like
to Jimmy.
I'm not quite there, Liam Gallagher, thinking I'm John Lennon. Now I got hit in the head with a hammer, but it's very close.
Maybe he was actually talking about number 6. Can you see me? Maybe that's what he was talking about. That's our song number 6. Can you see me, Morrow? This is your favorite Jimi Hendrix song. It's a great tune.
It is this week.
It is this week. Yeah, fair enough.
And oddly enough, it's not the guitaring that I love about it. It's the vocals and the lyrics. The lyrics are so simple. They're just, again, he's talking about a girl, and can she see him? He's invisible to her. But it's the vocals that caught me on this. It's just so well done.
Yeah, I agree.
This one shocked me that all you guys had it that high. I had to listen. This is the last song I would listen to on our list. And there's no songs I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to work on this to see what the I still don't rank it that high, but I was still surprised.
It has more drum fills than The Price. It's its sister song.
It does have a lot of
It's got drum fills like every 6 seconds instead of every 8.
I feel like
it's
I
like
keep thinking
someone
the
lost
song's
a
over.
bet.
It's like
He's had 12 cups of coffee and a couple lines, and he just sat down and went bananas.
yeah, he's just going bananas on the drums. Like
He wasn't even listening to the song. He was just playing.
yeah, and this is also one of those things with the early engineering, like the sound is done. It's got that vocal doubling and sort of the stereo effect. You know, you hear it with some artists. They use it on all artists today, but you hear it like with Ozzy, where the voice is like right up front. Mm-hmm. So it's you know that's one of the other things I like about it, but I won't get into that.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just looking. So that Can You See Me is number 6. I was looking at the points, and not that the points mean a whole lot, but obviously with the ranking system, there's only 12 points that separates first from sixth. So that really shows again, like, you know, how close a lot of these songs were in terms of how it came out with in the algorithm. Definitely. As we move into the top 5. Number 5 is Voodoo Child Slight Return. Yeah. That opening riff is freaking bananas. Yeah, Gord, this was you had this third on your list.
I was going to say he started a lot of his shows with this song, and I think just picturing people like listening to music at the time, like you got the Monkees and shit like that, and then. In fact, he opened for the Monkees, and that's kind of a funny story. But
poor Monkees.
The poor Monkees. Right? But could you imagine? You're 60s, you're smoking some shitty 60s weed, and then all of a sudden you see this guy come out, and you're like, who's this character? And then he plays this, and you're like, he's doing things you didn't even know a guitar could do. Like, the sounds that are coming out in that first 30 seconds are crazy. Yeah. Absolutely incredible song. And to this day, I think the guitar playing in that is just fascinating.
Yeah, it is.
Just that of course the wah is one thing that makes this song stand out. But again, on People, Hell and Angels, the new that Somewhere song again, wah. Oh, that's all wah through that solo. So if you like the wah on Voodoo Child, check out Somewhere.
He shreds on that song.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, we will.
I didn't mean to take away from Voodoo Child, but that's this was my first hook, the first song that really got me like deep, like really loved Jimmy.
I think maybe a lot of people have heard the Stevie Ray Vaughan cover of it.
Yeah,
song. He's the only guy that could cover it. Probably not many. I saw Slash do the riff before, and that was pretty cool. But he didn't keep playing the song.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, it's a freaking masterpiece. Number 4, the title track from Are You Experienced, the album, the song, obviously, Are You Experienced? Mm-hmm. I don't know who wants it. Gord, you had this in your top 5?
Sure, I was gonna. This one's an interesting song. It's not the bluesy ballads that he's got going on. It's not the hooks like, you know, Purple Haze or stuff like that. It's just he kind of sets a mood here, and it's a very monotonous verse that just goes on. And I know they're doing some interesting stuff with the engineering, like they're playing it backwards at the same time, which frankly is maybe a little unnecessary. But I don't know what it was. He just set a perfect mood with this song, and I found it really catchy. It doesn't have a lot of changes to it.
Yeah, this is the first Jimi Hendrix song I ever heard. And I think
much music.
No, I was actually at a house party. In high school, I was at I don't even know the guy's house. It was one of those ones where you're with a couple of guys and say, hey, so-and-so's having a party. And we showed up, and, you know, halfway through the night or whatever, this song came on, and it freaking boggled my mind, to be honest. It was, you know, like you said, Cease, you mentioned it earlier on in our conversation here, that it was very obviously experimental, you know, playing stuff backwards, and it almost sounded like that, you know, that DJ scratching, and so there were so many things going on, and I don't know. This is just a song that always stuck with me. I don't know a lot of Jimi Hendrix lyrics, but I know the lyrics to this song. And I don't know. I think this is forget Jimi Hendrix as part of the conversation. This is one of my favorite songs probably ever.
What's the one line? Not necessarily stoned, but beautiful.
Yeah, just when you think he's singing just about drugs, he says, not necessarily stoned.
Yeah.
But beautiful.
Yeah. And depending on who you talk to, that is, was the, I guess, term used for if you're high on LSD, you're beautiful, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of different interpretations. Again, he's not around to set it straight, but that's one of the interpretations of that.
Yeah.
He hated his own singing. And
Really?
in the studio, and he hated people watching him sing. So when they recorded in the studio, they would build a privacy wall so that he could stand behind it and do all his vocal tracks. Kind of interesting.
Wow. I think he's got a great voice.
He didn't like his own voice, but
Like Up from the Skies on the Axis, Bold as Love. That kind of soft little, just wanna talk. I love that slow, that soft groove he's got.
Yeah, me
I
too.
wanna do you know how? And then, have you ever been to Electric Ladyland? Oh, good is the singing there. Sounds like Curtis Mayfield.
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up because I know we're kind of all over the place. We're supposed to be talking about the top 10 or top 11 or whatever.
It's Jimmy. He's all over the place.
Yeah, there's that song on Are You Experienced, May This Be Love, that has a softer tone to I love the vocals on that. I love the vocals.
Did you have that? Someone had it on a list, which made me.
I had it on the list, and that is why the vocal on that just really got me. But,
I need a new section on our songs I don't have. My favorite songs that you guys have that I don't have. That was because
right?
Yeah, that was one, and then Moral with Remember. That was another one that stood out. But now I'm all over the map. Sorry.
I know. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll get to that. We'll talk egregious omissions and some points of contention a little later. Right. In the meantime, we'll rip through the top three.
Yeah.
Number 3, Spanish Castle Magic. This is Gordo's number 1 song.
Dude, this one is just awesome riff all over it.
Right? Nothing but groove.
It gets you right at the beginning, too. It just grabs you by the nuts. Oh, great. Dogs barking.
That's all right. Sounds like Sublime.
Incredible song. Absolutely love the riff.
It's the beginning of Waiting to Caught Stealing over there.
That's totally what's happening.
I know
dogs are on lockdown. They're getting squirrely.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Anyone that's a Rage Against the Machine fan, listen to that song.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
unbelievable.
That's a great point. And I did read, Morello is a big Jimmy fan. I think a lot of really talented guitarists, find Jimmy, as one of their influences. But that's a good call. I never made that connection till you said it. Now I can totally hear it.
And it's about taking a girl to his favorite drinking establishment.
Yeah, can I read you the first verse? It's because I stuck with me. It's very far away. It takes about half a day to get there if we travel by Dragonfly. I don't even know what's happening there, but it's unbelievable. And I want to get on that Dragonfly.
That's right. Yeah. Oh god.
Well, it was a bar that he used to play at. They would have open jams and bands there.
Was it the bar? Was it called Spanish Castle?
It was called Spanish Castle. Yeah.
Oh, there you
I didn't know that. God, the research team did their work again. Man, we got the best.
It was next
team
to. It was next to the.
Got to give them a raise.
That pub was right next to the Spanish Corner Pocket.
That's right. Yeah,
that's a good inside joke.
Yeah, there you go. I guess we should probably explain. We used to hang out at a pub here locally that was called the Castle.
Out?
Yeah, well, live. We used to live at this place called the Castle Pub. And next door to that was a pool hall called the Corner Pocket. So obviously Spanish Castle, so Spanish Corner Pocket.
How much
Well
for
done.
pitchers? They were like $3 for a pitcher.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jugs of beer were cheap.
Yeah. For good
Everything
reason.
was cheap back then.
That's true.
Number 2, it's not very often that we have a song with a kazoo in it, but we do now. Crosstown Traffic.
That's what he said. That's what turned me off.
Really? Is that what threw you over the top? As soon as Jimmy starts playing kazoo, you're like, "Fuck this."
Well, it's not a kazoo.
It's
No,
not?
It's not. It sounds like it. I know it's not, but it sounds like it.
No,
yeah.
it's a piece of tissue paper and a hair comb.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
you've done
dude,
that.
you better explain this.
Okay, this is an outrage. I'm taking it off my list. I thought I was.
Yeah, it's a
it
comb.
got extra points for the
They
kazoo.
had
It's a
freaking
comb and
MacGyver on
tissue
this?
paper. Yeah, well, that's Jimmy.
MacGyver.
That's Jimmy.
My sister
That's
told me to
Jimmy,
show me
man.
that when I was a kid. The
Really?
comb in the paper. Yeah.
And then you notice how the sound sort of circles
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they made a makeshift rotary speaker, which is, popular now
Yeah.
as an effect, but with elastic bands, cardboard box, and they created this rotary speaker and then stuck a speaker in it and a mic and re-recorded it. So this is a really cool song because it shows ingenuity when they didn't have a lot of stuff. And Jimmy was big on, he'd play any instrument he saw and he would just play it. He didn't know how, but he would play it on the songs. And he wanted a kazoo sound, so he used a piece of tissue paper and a comb. So
Jesus.
killer
amazing.
tune, man. Killer.
It's a great song, and I mean, as I was halfway through that sentence, I was trying to figure out how I could pull the chute without saying it.
Sorry, man.
I'm already up to 3.
Sorry.
You guys are lagging behind. I've already got 3 great tunes or good songs or whatever.
It is, though. It's the truth here.
Yeah, I had this. I fought between this and "Are You Experienced" as my number 1 and number 2. Ultimately, Crosstown Traffic won out at that particular time. It's always been, a top song of mine. I don't know. Lyrically, I think it's pretty good.
It's about a girl again.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Great
It's
lyrics.
about a stage 5 clinger, right? It's about that girl you just can't get rid of. At least that's the way I read it. Yeah. Anyway, that's my take on Crosstown Traffic. It's a sweet, sweet tune. Number 1. A little surprised that Little Wing came in number 1, yet not surprised. I mean, if you said to somebody, if somebody said to you, "Hey, what's your favorite song?" and you said Little Wing, I don't think someone would call you crazy. There's something about this guitar tone that, I don't know. Mauro, you mentioned it earlier about tone. There's something about this song. The way the guitar sounds on this song is just fabulous to me. It's freaking beautiful.
Yeah, it's probably his, in my opinion, it's his best song in terms of how well written it is. It's like smooth as silk, man.
Right?
Oh, it deserves to be number 1 for sure.
It does. No one had it number 1 on their. No one even had it top 5 on their list, but everyone had it.
That's true.
Everyone had it really high, and you hit the nail on the head. It's a beautiful sounding song. Like he just has such a delicate touch in the song. It's crazy how good it is.
Yeah. This
And even
end-
like right from the intro, you talk about drums. Like there's that the intro with with the drums and like.
Well, they gave him some Valium that day because he had to restrain himself.
Yeah, he had to have a little bit of feel on this. Sorry, go ahead, Cease. What were you gonna say?
No, I think it's his prettiest song, most beautiful song. That and "A Wind Cries Mary" is up there too. That one's
Yeah.
Fair enough.
That one's another misty one for me.
We're
Good
gonna
take.
have to
Oh,
get
does
like
he
a
have-
Cecil's
does-
Mist list or something.
Does he have Native American roots in him? Because the song
He does.
Yeah.
He was his
Cherokee.
background was Cherokee and black. So
He's the song's really about the simple lifestyle, spirits inhabiting the animals, and nature. Like it's
that-
a pretty deep song. It's
But
really
that-
well written.
What you said there, the spirits, animals, nature. That's through like all his work. You could not just this song, and they credit that with that could be partly because it's Cherokee. Hey, there's a lot of these things almost similar to. I don't know how you'd word it.
Yeah. I always listen to the playlist a
Last
few
word.
times through before we, do the podcast, and every single time this coming up first is just it's absolutely perfect. Sets the stage for everything.
Yeah.
Great call.
Well, maybe we got it right, boys.
I think we got it right.
Oh,
I think for
the
sure.
the reboot got it right. Whew.
Hey, we had the algorithm needed a little downtime to
right.
reflect on what it's done
Put in some more
and,
RAM
and come up with a list.
tip top now, boys.
Yeah, so
had
that's
to sit the algorithm in the press box for a couple episodes.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. Watch it from up here and get yourself organized. That's the top 10 list. Red House and All Along the Watchtower tied at number 10. Little Miss Lover 9. Manic Depression 8. 1983 and a bunch of other stuff after that at number 7. Can You See Me number 6. Number 5 is Voodoo Child Slight Return. 4 Are You Experienced. 3 Spanish Castle Magic. 2 Crosstown Traffic. And number 1 Little Wing. And again, you can get that playlist plus the other 10 and the deep cuts, which we're going to talk to in a few minutes. Before we do that, it's time for the egregious omissions and points of contention. I would like to start out by saying the egregious omission outside of the top 20 is Foxy Lady and Fire.
Absolutely. I'm stunned that these weren't higher on the list. Ooh,
Yeah.
Foxy Lady.
And is it because it's so popular and it's been
Garth
played so
ruined
many times? I can't explain it, but saying that, I don't think. Well, see, I had it number 19 on my list, so it's. I don't know.
Garth from Wayne's World. All I see is this. Foxy Lady.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Dude, those words.
Yeah.
Yeah, those definitely could have been higher. I don't know why they weren't, to be honest. I don't have an
Yeah,
explanation.
but I guess outside of the top 20, but even in the top 10, like Hey Joe,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey Joe outside the top 10. Yeah.
that's an omission, but I think every song in the top 10 is so good, but Hey Joe is an amazing song, so I don't know.
Gotta talk about Hey Joe for a sec. That's a weird song. It's like a casual conversation about a dude that's going to murder his woman.
Yeah, it is
Yeah,
dark
hey, Joe.
stuff.
Where are you going with that gun in your hand?
Yeah.
I'm going
Wanna shoot my old lady?
The guy's like, all right. Hey, Joe. You shot your lady down.
Yeah. It's kind of like Down by the River by Neil Young, right?
Oh, hey.
yeah.
Nice one.
Yeah, this is a dark lyrically song.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely is. Any other? Hey Joe.
We can make the
Purple Haze.
Purple Haze
for
for sure.
Came in at number 18. It'll be on the top 20, but I was surprised that it wasn't higher.
I will accept Stone Free at number 13, but I feel like it's a top 10 song.
Nah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I didn't have it on my top 20, so I'm part of the problem. Cecil didn't have it. It was Gord had it at 4. Morrow, you had it at 11, and then me and Cease didn't have Stone Free at all. I don't know. It's never been one of my favorite Jimmy songs.
Really?
So I don't know why.
I like
I
it.
love that song so much. Also, if we can go back to Foxy Lady, we didn't get to talk about how much we like guys that talk about themselves in a third person. Move over, Rova, and let Jimmy take over. It's like, no shit. Whoever this Rover guy is, better to get out of the way, son.
That's right.
But yeah, still back to Stone Free. I had that really high on my list. I think you said 4.
Yeah.
I was shocked he didn't make it, but you know what? All the songs are great, so I'm not going to cry about it. I'm not going to get misty.
Yeah, there was a lot more songs that I enjoyed than I thought. I thought my top 10 or my top 20 was going to be pretty much peppered by the popular songs that I had, heard throughout the years. I've never listened to, at least I don't believe I have. I don't think I've ever listened to, one of his albums from song one to like right through to the end, like I have with a lot of other albums. So most of what I've heard from Jimmy is what is popular, what you hear on the radio, what you know. Sure. So I figured that mine would just be, all those songs. And honestly, here's the other thing. So Fire, which we talked about just a few seconds ago, Fire used to be one of my favorite songs. And there was, and shout out to the former Livewire and a band that used to play there all the time that obviously is no longer around, called Specula Black. But Specula Black used to play Fire all the time, and it was money.
Oh, those guys were awesome.
I love this song, and I listened to the shit out of this song, and then I end up doing a Jimmy, and I'm like, oh, Fire is going to be top 5, and it barely made my list at number 20. So
they'd throw Fire between their Megadeth covers.
They didn't do. See, you don't know what you're talking about. The name is actually a lot heavier than they were. Probably they did one of the best covers of Cold Gin by Kiss that I've ever seen. Maybe because it's the only cover I've ever seen of that. But Cold Gin was outstanding. I like that.
Do you own a Specula Black CD?
I don't really. You have a CD?
No. Do you?
No, I don't even know if they ever.
Maybe they didn't.
I don't know if they ever had one. They didn't have a lot of original material. They did a lot. They were mostly a tribute band, as they call it now. What we used to call a cover band. Any other egregious omissions before we get into the deep cuts?
Just omissions.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I think that kind of
a couple things we haven't mentioned though. They're not egregious omissions. Just things we should probably talk about. Is he's one of the members of the 27 Club. How he died when he was 27, right?
Yeah.
Asphyxiated.
Yeah.
And that's got to be there's got to be some folklore related to what Robert Johnson, because he's the one that sold his soul to the devil, and he was 27. So all these amazing musicians selling their souls to the devil. Is that why they're so good?
It's a pretty crazy list. Janis Joplin, Jim Morrison, Kurt Cobain. It's a huge list.
It is.
I sold my soul to the devil, and I'm still here, so it didn't work.
Sold my
You,
soul for
sir,
rock
are
and
no
roll.
Jimi Hendrix.
No, that's very true.
Amy Winehouse.
That's true.
Yeah, the list goes on.
I'm white
Anyway.
and I'm a shitty guitar player, so I got two things that are against me right off.
It's probably just because you're
from the
right-handed.
It's too bad.
Yeah.
It's really.
Other than that, you would have been dealt with. Sorry, Gord. What was the other thing you want to talk about?
I just wanted to mention about how unbelievable it was him setting his guitar on fire back when doing stuff like that would have been like a truly original idea. Guys weren't, maybe the Who was smashing their stuff and whatnot. He upped his game and just started playing a guitar on fire. Man, that's unbelievable. I just wanted to give the man his due.
Okay, fair enough. That would be an egregious omission, I guess, that we didn't talk about that. Who wants to start off deep cuts?
Deep cuts.
Yeah, I'll go.
What do you got, Morrow?
I got Here He Comes off of South Saturn Delta.
Oh yeah.
One of the best guitar intros ever.
Yeah,
It didn't make my top 20, but it's awesome. Check
Killing
it out.
Floor is intro like that too, didn't it?
I think Killing Floor and Here He Comes are half of it is the same song.
Yeah, that was mine. Killing Floor.
It's like a different version of the same song. And then Hey Baby at Live in Maui.
Nice.
On Live in Maui. And
Good choice.
great song.
Great song. Nice.
Great tune.
I changed it up.
That's a new one for me.
Sorry, what was that song? That was from Live in Maui, right?
Hey Baby,
Yeah.
Live in Maui.
Yeah.
And I got to give a shout out to Gypsy Eyes. I added that late, but
Oh, Gypsy Eyes.
Gypsy Eyes is pretty solid.
Wow. Moro went bananas with the deep cuts. You never do that. You normally have one or two, and this time you went full Gord and Beastie Boys.
Well, Gord had like 8 on Beastie Boys.
There was a lot of deep cuts to mention.
And his deep cut was a whole album.
He's still emailing them in.
Yeah,
A whole album. And no license to ill.
Okay, we got to let it go, boys. We can't rehash old wounds.
That's right.
Cease, have you got?
Do I?
Yeah,
many-
I bet you've got a.
How many are we allowed here?
Hey, there's no rules. There's no rules to deep cuts.
I'm going to put message to love. However, whatever one you can find is great. But if there's any possibility of finding the South Saturn Delta version, that is that one is a Billy Cox masterpiece. If you want to hear some of the best bass Jimmy's played with, they feed off each other so good in that. Message to love.
Okay.
Nice.
I'll go way off the grid because when some of these box sets or whatever, I don't know, like hearing him play with what his original band, the Isley Brothers, or was the other guy named Curtis Squire or something. But then he's playing with Little Richard. Like Little Richard is one of the inventors of rock and roll. Like imagine those two together, hey?
Yep.
But I'm not going to bring up that song. That's a digression.
All right.
This one might be hard to find. Okay, as you notice with Jimmy, as his career goes on, his song titles get longer. Like they go from Purple Haze, Hey Joe, Manic Depression. By the time you get to Electric Ladyland, you got Long Hot Summer Night, Burning the Midnight Lamp, and then it's like Moon. They get to like 5-6 word titles. So this one's called The Stars That Play with Laughing Dice.
I don't.
What the fuck is
I
that?
don't remember that song.
It is, you know what? It sounds unfinished. It's not, you might think the song's garbage, but it's like, it sounds like the first 2 or 3 cuts of a freaking masterpiece.
Okay.
Again, it's different than a lot of his tunes. The other one I'll put is Taken Care of No Business. It's just a mellow, chill, acoustic, self-depreciating beauty.
Taking care of no business?
Yeah, man. Fuck these guys taking care of business.
Should be our fucking theme song.
Take care of no business.
I don't know that one.
Yeah.
I don't think I heard that.
That speaks to me more than Bachman Turner Overdrive.
All right.
All right.
I won't put this on the deep cuts, but great name for a tune. Jam Back at the House.
That is awesome.
But he used to do that. He used to just invite people to the studio.
Well, let's
Jam.
go back to Voodoo Child.
In the middle of the bar, like it's
like
Voodoo Child is unreal.
Like he's got credit. So Steve Winwood on piano, and what is his name? Jack Cassidy from Jefferson Airplane on bass. And they weren't like, this doesn't sound like it was planned ahead. This is an improv. Like they're just feeding off each other. But it's not like their first recording. Like they did jam it from it was like from 4 a.m. till at least till the day or something. They but I don't know, like nowadays people won't know who Steve Winwood is, but him on playing the organ.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's quite a combination.
No doubt.
Did he play the skin flute?
Jesus. Couldn't get through.
No,
Couldn't do it.
I was trying not to say anything. I was like, are we gonna skate through this? No. Somebody comes in with the overhand, right? All right,
I love that instrument.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. You're a magician at it. I'm gonna go with what am I gonna go with? I'm gonna go with "May This Be Love." Just I mentioned it earlier, so I'm not gonna talk about it a whole lot. But off of "Are You Experienced?" I love the vocal on that song. Cecil mentioned this song a little bit earlier as well. It's called "Somewhere" off of "People, Hell, and Angels," which is just an absolute. I think it's the second track on that album. If you haven't heard that album, if you're like me, I mean, not that again, I'm not a Hendrix fan, but like traditionally, like I don't own a lot of his material, but that album was phenomenal. And there's a song called Earth Blues that is already in the top 20 that is spectacular, and then the song Nowhere is the second song, which really is really sweet too. And then my third one is going to be You Got Me Floating off of Axis Bold as Love. Yeah,
Fan
see?
of deep cuts, man.
Yeah, You Got Me Floating is I think hugely underrated song. I was hoping it was going to sneak into the 20, but I don't think it did, so I can add it to the deep cuts.
Wow. I had that one pretty high too. It's got great bass and back vocals. I had that number 8.
Totally.
Well, I got to give you credit, Huffman. You nailed 2 of my deep cuts, which was You Got Me Floating in Somewhere. So I just got one, I just got one left. I know you guys weren't a big fan of this, but I think his performance of Star Spangled Banner at Woodstock is worth checking out. Just a fantastic job with the national anthem there. And, he played the last day at like 9 a.m. and, most of the crowd had left by that point. So I can't believe you wait to the third day to put Jimmy on in the morning, but hey, way to go.
That's an absolute crime.
It is a crime against humanity.
But he loved that. He hated the big crowds. He liked to be able to talk to the crowd. He liked the feedback.
That's right. I think he was pleased that a lot of people had left before he played. But his performance of that song it's a little shrieky. There's a lot of feedback, and you got to kind of stay with it. But if he just did a really good job at it. I just want it on the list.
Well, and it was kind of funny the way that this worked out. The way that the playlist is that's going to be the last song on the playlist, and I think that's a fabulous way to end it off. So
nice.
Well,
I do want to say one thing though.
Okay, yeah.
It's a point of contention, actually.
We've already passed that part.
I don't know, because I think Remember is a great song, and I'm the only one that picked it.
Easy to overlook, though. It's so different.
It's tied for 20th.
Man.
But anyway.
Really?
Oh,
I'll let you guys listen to it and then feel the shame.
It's a great song.
And then feel the shame. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess on that note, that concludes not only the Jimi Hendrix episode, but it concludes 2020. We hope you enjoyed it. Not 2020. We hope you enjoyed this episode.
2020.
Chances are you hated 2020.
2020 was dog shit wall to wall.
That's right. So, if you enjoy Picks and Sticks, please tell your friends, your family, your neighbors, and coworkers about it. And don't forget, you can email the show at picksandstickspodcast@gmail.com. We may even read your email in an upcoming episode. Gord's Pouch will return bigger and better in 2021. We promise you that. And make sure you don't miss an episode. Subscribe to the Picks and Sticks podcast. You can find us everywhere, really. Spotify, Apple, Google, Stitcher, Amazon, Pandora. Like I said, Cecil just got gonged. Or did I get gonged? Did I get gonged for the outro? What the hell was that?
Sorry, packing a bowl too soon.
Anyway, we are everywhere. And before we go, you know what? We're going to ask you for a favor. I know we've got a group of loyal listeners, and we ask that you take just a couple of minutes to rate the podcast, leave a review. This will really help us to continue to grow our audience. I understand not all the podcast apps have a review section, but I know Apple does. I know Stitcher does. I think there's a couple of others do. So if you use one of those apps, we'd love it if you could help us out with a review. And that is it. Thank you very much for listening. We'll see you again in 2021. Happy New Year and see you!
See you!
Can't you see I'm going to cough it? Give it away, give it away, give it away.
Dude, you got to leave that in there.
It's a great intro,
tune.
by the way.
That's a great tune.
That is a
It is a
tune.
great intro.
It's a good intro.
It is. I got to hear the rest of the song. You got to write it if there's not one.
Yeah, you got to finish it, and then we'll debut it. We'll sell it. We'll give it away.
We'll debut it on the podcast. I'm in.
That'll be the next giveaway.
I love it.
You can get a hoodie and our first single. It'll be instrumental because I know you guys are into instrumentals.
And they're instrumental for any great artist.
The Beastie
Right?
Boys instrumental is great.
All right, boys.
All right.
Ready?
Good to go.